Morning, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll give people a few more moments to sign in. You'll hopefully notice that the chat is open on this webinar. So if you'd like to know, if you'd like to let us know where you're joining from in the UK or abroad, it would be great to know where you're dialing in from. First one off the gate, Manchester, UK. That's my hometown. So hopefully the weather will be nice because I'm returning later today. Macclesfield, London, Newcastle. Have we got anyone from overseas joining us? Anyone not in the UK? Sunny Devon. Hi, Dave. Bradford, Bristol. Okay. Lots of people joining from the UK. Doesn't look like we've got anyone from overseas yet, but let us make a start. So first of all, welcome to the very first BigChange Innovate. This is going to be a quarterly webinar where we show you the new functionality that's been added to the BigChange system for the last 3 months. You'll be pleased to know that it's not just me that's here. My name's Jonathan. I'm Product Marketing Manager at BigChange. I'm joined by 3 of our product managers. We have Charlie, we have Katrina, and we have Freddie. They are in the chat, and you'll be hearing from Freddie later on the app innovation stuff. If you're not a BigChange customer, you are still very much welcome to this webinar. For those of you who are either new to BigChange or are thinking of joining us, we are the all-in-one job management platform that allows you to run your entire business. On screen, you can see some of the main functionality that we offer, but there is much, much more. You don't need to just take our word for it. We have over 2,000 customers globally, many of whom have provided a case study. So if you're wanting to learn a bit more, head over to bigchange.com to read more. Hopefully your screen will look something like this. The chat is open. I think it's a big change first to have the chat open on a webinar. The Q&As are also open. You can react to something, give it a like, give it a love. Don't raise your hand. That's not going to do anything, but you can get involved with the other ways. As I mentioned, this is the first time we've got the chat open for a webinar, a bit nerve-wracking. So some do's and don'ts: don't put any passwords, credit card details, or other personal information into the chat. If you have any questions, if you could try and put them in the Q&A section. The chat is very, very busy at the moment, so we don't want to miss any of the questions. There is a dedicated Q&A section at the end. Yeah, let's get started. Depending on the questions, we might do them as we're going, and if we don't manage to answer them all, we will make sure that the customer success rep will get back to you. It is going to be interactive, so assuming I remember to launch the surveys, there are going to be surveys throughout. As with all of our content, this is being recorded and will be available on our YouTube channel. If you're not subscribed, head over to youtube.com/BigChange or scan the QR code and you will be notified when this webinar is live. So this is what we have coming up. We have the ability of saving big on your next vehicle purchase. We have some finance magic. Standard reports and dashboards have received an update. Freddie's going to demonstrate the job list search and how that's got even better. We have some AI, which has been introduced to BigChange, and that is already being very well received. We're going to give you a sneak peek in terms of what functionality we are working on and what is going to be released in the next quarter. And as I mentioned, we are going to be doing our Q&As. So this is the first one that we have, and it's I'm calling really attention to the CEOs, CFOs, managers, directors, anyone who is really responsible for buying a new vehicle for your business. Buying one vehicle is expensive. Having a fleet of vehicles is even more expensive as the cost goes up. Comparing the deals when they're due for renewal, arranging fit outs, handbacks, and anything else can be a complete nightmare. So I'm going to actually launch the first poll. And I'd like to know, what are the problems that you generally experience as part of fleet procurement? We'll give that a few moments. If you can put your answers in, that would be awesome. Lead times is a common one. It's a long process, absolutely. Availability of vehicles, the type, absolutely. Gosh, we're getting quite a few responses in here. Lead times is definitely the most common. Delays in delivery, fleet availability, absolutely. Okay, we'll keep that poll open whilst we're going through. And there must be a simpler way. Well, you'll be pleased to know there is a simpler way, and we're calling it BigChange Fleet. It's available exclusively to BigChange customers, and it doesn't cost you a penny to sign up or inquire for this. You don't just have to take our word for the benefits that this can bring. One of the first customers of ours to give this a trial was Ian Hall from Utopia. If Ian's here, big shout out to you. He managed to save 15% for a like-for-like basis on the exact same vehicle. To put that in cash terms, that's £110 a month or over £5,000 on a 4-year lease. Try and imagine what you could do with an extra £5,000 on a single vehicle. Paul Large over at WGS Waste. As you can see, we gave him a great deal on a brand new car that was literally delivered in a couple of weeks. The process was seamless and quick. So let's show you how seamless and quick it is. There's 3 steps to this process. Very, very simple. The first step is to head over to the BigChange site and click on the little grid that you've got next to BigChange Extra. The first thing under that is Fleet. You will then be taken to a Synergy landing page. Synergy is our partner who will be providing this service on our behalf. Click on the green button. You will then have to fill in literally 3 or 4 options, and one of Synergy's experts will get back to you. They will talk to you on the phone and take all of your details. It's really that simple. We're not just offering exceptional cost savings. Synergy can access nationwide stock lists of factory build slots, as well as special offers only available through the finance partners. The procurement process, as already described by our customer over at WGS, is effortless. You can streamline your procurement with a dedicated vehicle procurement specialist. They will take all of your details. You don't need to fill out any lengthy forms. And they will be on hand to support you with further procurement needs as your company grows. They also offer a complimentary fleet review. Now, this isn't something that you have to pay for. It's something that you can take advantage of right now, and that allows you to provide the details of your current fleet, and they will work out whether or not it's beneficial for you to procure new vehicles versus continue with your existing ones. Exclusive deals are available, including manufacturer discounts, promotions, and other dealer discounts that can bring the price down even further. Vehicle ready delivery, they can support you with kit out, signage, so that your vehicles are ready to hit the road as soon as you take delivery. And finally, when the lease comes to an end, at the end of your contract, they can arrange vehicle inspections so that you've got peace of mind knowing that you're not going to be hit with any surprises. So again, BigChange Fleet doesn't cost you anything to take advantage of. It's available exclusively to BigChange customers. If you do go to Synergy by not following those 3 steps, do mention you're a BigChange customer. Otherwise, you won't be able to get those discounts. So next up, we have some finance magic. This is part of the new functionality that we have. And as you can see, the end of the month is often a time that is it's a stressful time of the year. Why? Because it often involves a manual repetitive process that is time consuming at best and can, if you don't pay attention, result in billing errors and other challenges. We have 2 methods of invoicing available within BigChange. We have the ad hoc, but then there are 2 other methods. We have the first one called consolidated invoicing, and that is where we have multiple jobs all falling into one invoice. The second one is what we call batch invoices, and that is where one job results in one invoice. So let's currently take a look at how consolidated invoicing works in BigChange. First, we will find the job that we want to invoice. We will open up that job by going to the financial tab, make any amends that we need, and then create the financial document. If we go forward, we can then create the invoice and then create save. We then have our invoice, And if we wanted to repeat that process for all of the jobs we had, that would take some time. Once we've got those jobs, if we wanted to create a consolidated invoice, we can choose our consolidated method. But we have simplified that process. We've made it more efficient, less prone to error, and a way in which can scale with as many invoices as you like. So let's take a look at how that works. Under the CRM tab, you will see that there is actually a financial document subsection and something which is new, which is the jobs subtab. This displays a list of the jobs that match the filters that you put in. You can choose specific job types, specific customers, specific financial stages, and more. In this case, I'm going to do end of month invoicing for cabbages. I click the checkbox at the top of the screen. And when it asks whether I would like to select all of the jobs or just those on page, I'm going to select all pages. Currently, we can select the first 100 jobs, so I'm going to select that. From the little select thing, I have an option. First of all, I'm going to create a consolidated invoice. We have 3 consolidated invoicing options available. We're going to go through each of those in turn. The first one is creating a single invoice with a single line for all of the jobs. We can populate keywords with the description automatically. Let's move on. And when I have a description that I'm happy with, I can click on OK. Now I have a single invoice for all of those jobs within a matter of moments. Option 2 is very similar to the first, but this time we're going to create a single line for each job. So if a job has more than one line, they will be consolidated into a single line. As before, we can choose the keywords for each line item. And here is the results, the financial document with all of those items. As you can see, we have the job reference, the date and time of the planned, date and time of planned and scheduled, and there are quite a few lines. I have the saved invoice, and I can open it and view all of the lines as we could do before. If we want to view the jobs that are associated with the invoice, we can do just that. We can either do that by clicking on the invoice itself and view jobs, or we can click on the edit button, go to this jobs subtab, and see the jobs there. If we want to export all of these jobs, perhaps we want to include accompanying data with the invoice, we can press the export button. And again, we are given options for the different type of export, and those will be provided in Excel format. The final option for consolidating invoicing is option 3. And this is a single invoice for all lines. We don't change any of the descriptions. We create a single invoice for all of them. So if we open that up, this is what the invoice looks like. Lots and lots of lines. There's our saved invoice as before. And we can see the details. And the jobs. And we can also see a detailed activity of everything that happens to the document from creating and saving. So that was the consolidated invoicing. Now we have batch invoicing. And just to remind you, this is the act of one job resulting in one financial document. It's not to be confused with the consolidation, which we had before, but we have our invoices selected, and this time we're going to create batch invoices. We don't have as many options as before, only 3 for the nominal, department code, and bank account. I don't remember what that one said. We populate those. When we're ready, we click OK. And as you can see, the documents start to get created pretty quickly. And once they are created, they can be synced with your financial package or sent to the customer. So those are the changes that we have made to the financial side of things. Really, really powerful changes, and will certainly help you with the end of the month, billing. So next we're going to look at the standard reports and dashboards. There are two ways of visualizing data in BigChange. Both are exceptionally powerful at doing different things. The first category we have is what is called standard reports. These generally show BigChange data in a table format and can be easily exported into Excel for you to create your own charts from. The second category we introduced around about last year. They are dashboards, and they do pretty much all of the heavy lifting for you, and you can take your BigChange data from that and you can see them in charts presented in format. First, we're going to look at the dashboards. So to get to the dashboards, you need to navigate to the Analytics and Report tab at the top. If you see the banner which is on screen in orange, you need to actually speak to your administrator to assign you a dashboard license. This is very easy, and each customer has allocated some licenses to get you going. I'm just going to talk through briefly how your administrator sets these up. If you're not sure who your administrator is, you can contact Road Crew or your CS representative, and they'll let you know. Send them a copy of this recording or speak to them, and they will be able to advise you how to set up your licenses. So the first thing they need to do is select the admin from the top screen. They need to identify which web user they want to have the license for and click on Edit. Under the dashboard section, there will be a viewer license, and you need to select that. As I mentioned before, each customer has a set of licenses available to them, and if you need more, speak to your CS representative and they will be able to talk you through the options. Once you've been assigned a viewer license, when you next look at the Analytics and Dashboards page, you will see 10 dashboards available to you, and we are adding to them all the time. We don't have the time today to go through all of the dashboards, but we did do a feature-length webinar on the dashboards when we released them last year. If you want to scan the QR code on screen or go to our YouTube channel, you will be able to watch that on catch-up. So what changes have we made to the dashboards? Well, we've added a new group job WIP report, which is like the job WIP report, but for group jobs. It shows you the financial position, margins, value by job category, stage, and progress against which contacts you have the most financially rewarding jobs against as well. There is a filter option, which you can get to by selecting the little filter icon in the right-hand side. I just wait for PowerPoint to hurry up, and you can apply the different filters as you require, and then just hit apply. We didn't see anyone from overseas in the chat, but someone did say, is it available in Northern Ireland? I think that was for the vehicles. But if your account is set up to use French, the dashboards are now available in French, and you will be able to see those. What standard reports have we added? If we move forward, he says, we have added a new timesheet report to the site. This new timesheet report allows you to apply various different date ranges, as well as other filters that you can see on screen, such as specific resource and specific resource groups. But the real benefit of this allows you to have a look at the billing, or sorry, the wage rates that you might want to process. You can choose different filters on the side for duration, and you can select either specific time, which would be 11:30 for 11 hours and 30 minutes, or if you wanted to process this as a decimal, you can see 11.5 on screen. You also have the option of showing totals. This can either be against weekly, resources, all or none. So let's have a look at the columns that this report shows. And again, this is to help with your, I've gone too fast. This is to help you with the billing or processing of timesheets at the end of the week. We have, as you can see here, start and end timesheet rates, including unrated. We also have the absence types processed along screen. And as with all of the other reports, we have the option of exporting and scheduling these just like you can with others. I can see from the chat that a couple of people don't have access to version 2. If you don't have access to version 2, do you just want to put that in the chat, and we will follow up with each of those as to why you don't manage to see that. The next one we have are two drainage reports. These are likely to be of interest to those who are in the drainage sector or those who carry hazardous waste. We have two industry job cards, and they're available free of charge. We have the consignment notes, first of all, and then we have the waste transfer notes. If you don't have either of these, you can speak to your CS rep today and they will be able to get those on site. Okay, I can see quite a few people don't have version 2, so yeah, we will definitely have a look at that. Okay, so I'm going to be quiet for a minute and I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I'm going to hand over to Freddie. He's going to demonstrate the job list view in the JobWatch app. So I'm going to stop sharing. And I'm going to add Freddie to the screen, he says. And over to you, Freddie.
Morning all, thanks for joining. As Jim says, I'm Freddie, I'm the product manager for the mobile app. Today I'm excited to share some of the new work that the mobile team have been working on. It's currently in beta, but it's been rolled out on iOS, looking to roll that out to the first few customers on over the next following weeks. What we're looking at on the app, and I'll just share my screen quickly, and hopefully everyone can now see my device. So historically, this is the older version of the jobs list on the app. There was no real functionality for users to be able to manage or find jobs within that list. We did have showing you an updated tick box, quite small, not heavily used, but we're finding a lot of users are scrolling through their jobs, whether it's to find a job they might have suspended earlier, whether it's to find some additional work to pick up in the future, but there's not much functionality to find the jobs that they need. With the new jobs list, I'll just switch across on my device. We've introduced a new search and filter functionality just to help them find those jobs a little bit faster. For example, a use case might be if your scheduling team is on the phone to one of their engineers and they want to talk about a particular job, rather than your engineer having to scroll through and find it within their list, they can type in the job reference. So in this example, I've typed in 1878 and it's picked up my delivery /1878. We can also look at many other elements of that job. For example, if they knew it was a particular contact that they were looking for, I can type in a contact name and all my jobs for Caroline's Creative comes up. We can also look at the address as well. I'm in Leeds. Potentially a customer could have cancelled. I got a spare few hours, but I know I'm going to be in Leeds for the next few hours. Are there any jobs that I can pick up earlier? So we can type in Leeds and it's giving a list of all my jobs in the Leeds area. Likewise, we can also drill down into the address as well. So I can type in a postcode. So I could just type in the LS15 or even LS for the Leeds postcode, and it will start to pull all those jobs through. Other search terms that could be useful for you, if you're using purchase order numbers, you can also search by those. I think I should have an example here of purchase order. One of the important bits of feedback we got as well is we know a lot of customers use custom fields to drive some behavior, store some information, and they share those on the device. So we have made custom fields that are visible on the device, searchable in this field as well. Say, for example, what are my jobs? I've put some office notes in that it's a priority job, priority 1. So I can search priority on this list and pull through those jobs. So in terms of the job search, it's just a fast and effective way of finding those jobs within your list. We've also looked to improve the filters and sorting. So we've made the sort options a little bit more accessible. So if I tap that button there, we can sort as we already could, but we've just changed the way that we present those. and made it a little bit easier. Beforehand, you couldn't actually search by A to Z on customer name or reference, and now you can do that as well. So small changes to the UI on the sort, just a better presentation. In terms of the filters, we've included and kept the new and updated jobs, so I can check to see which of these jobs in my list are new and updated. But we've also looked to add a job type filter as well. If you know that there's perhaps reactive work that you need to keep on top of, we can apply our reactive our job type filter, and it can show your reactive jobs within that list. Super clear when you've got a filter applied in blue. We've also included a reset button as well, just to hint to that user that they've got some filters applied, and it's quite easy with one tap. I can remove those and clear out those filters. Lastly, we know customers use flags as well, so we've introduced those to the list. I've got one example of a job that's on hold. I can filter my jobs by flags. The last addition that we've added to our jobs list, I'll just put in some text here. It's just an improved no results screen. If they have put in a spelling mistake, or perhaps they've got some filters which isn't giving their results, we wanted to make that really clear. What have you put in, and why are you not seeing any jobs in that list? So if I reset my filters, it updates just the search term. If I remove that search term, we're back to seeing all our jobs. So yeah, a quick run through of the changes we've made to the jobs list. Excited to get that rolled out to customers over the coming weeks. If you are interested in getting early access, do reach out and put that in the Q&A, and I'll be happy to speak to you and let go from there. But yeah, that's everything for me. Back to you, Jonathan.
Thank you very much, Freddie. I think there's a couple of questions for you in the chat, which I will let you respond to as I bring back my screen. Okay, so the next topic is email with ease, and it's around AI. So I'm actually going to launch another poll, and this is around AI itself. If you have used AI in any other application, I'd love to know what you love about AI the most. What value does it bring to your business? And how it makes a difference to your workflows. Let's see what we've got. It reduces workload, time saving, automation, absolutely. Saves you time, a lot of time saving. So with that in mind, let's have a look at email magic. So crafting emails can sometimes be tedious, it can sometimes be time consuming, and it can sometimes be a very stressful task that takes hours from your work week. Whether it's a follow-up to a customer, a thank you note, or a gentle nudge about an overdue bill, each email can require a thoughtful approach that takes significant time. But what if you could reclaim that time? Would you use it to have an extra cup of coffee? What happens if that tool also helped you understand your needs and draft the perfect email on your behalf every single time? Well, BigChange has done just that with Draft My Email. With a click of a button, this revolutionary feature transforms very brief notes that you provide into a complete professional email. It's like having a personal email assistant that's always ready to provide. Hello? Am I back?
I think we
You're
lost you just
back.
for a moment there, Jonathan.
Did the internet die? Oh, fabulous. Let's try again. And I was just into my stride as well. So where were we up to? We've got the poll running still. Apologies for that. So let's have a look at how BigChange AI actually works. So first of all, we are going to fire up the email tool, and this can be opened in multiple areas in the system. I'm just going to demonstrate one way of it. We're going to open up the contact. We're going to navigate to the Persons tab, and in this case, we're going to select the person. he says, and then email. Things are running a bit slow here today. So this is the email screen that you'll get. And as I mentioned earlier, it can be accessed from multiple areas of the system, such as when you're sending job cards, note cards, and job confirmations. We have the button draft my email, which is shown on screen. And when we click that, we are provided with this very simple prompt. You can put anything in this box that you like, but you need to be direct with it. So unlike speaking to a human, you don't need to say please, you don't need to say thank you. Just be clear and direct with what you actually want to say. So in this case, we're going to thank this particular customer for their email and let them know that the information which they want is in the post. When we're ready, we press enter. Now, the important thing to remember here is that you're in complete control. There is no automatic of creating of emails with this text. You're in complete control. So BigChange AI has composed the email. And note how it even includes your sign-off automatically, your name. We might want to make some changes to this before we actually use it. So the first is the tone isn't quite right. It's quite neutral, but we can make some changes to that. And by clicking on that particular drop down, we can see several different types of available tone. We're going to be a bit more informal because we know this particular customer very well. So I'm going to select informal. And then straight away, the text is changed for a more informal tone. We can change the length of the email. We have options of short, medium, and long. And if we're not happy or want to completely rewrite it, we can do just that by pressing the rewrite button. Now, none of this text is used and the email is not sent without your explicit instructions. So when we are ready to send the email, we can click the copy button, which is in the bottom right-hand side. And when we press the copy button, it's copied to your clipboard. We can then go back to the email editor, and we can paste that into the email itself, which we have there. We can still make changes at this point. If we wanted to add additional lines, we can do. If we wanted to change the sign-off, we can also do that. In this case, I've just added a few more line breaks. It's only at this point when I press the send button, the email will be sent. So I'm going to move over and press send. And then you get the confirmation prompt on screen. That's it. That is BigChange AI in all of its glory. Give it a go today. There is no additional charge for this functionality. You can use that to your heart's content, and we would really like to know if you get benefit from that. So those are the features that we have released in the last quarter. Now going to very briefly go through the features that are coming soon, hopefully in the next quarter, but they are things that we are working on first. The first thing is a timesheets worksheets report. Now, this is different to the timesheet report which we showed before, but this is populating the worksheet data that is associated with a timesheet activity. You can see an example of it on screen. It has a section for each timesheet worksheet that is completed. And with any luck, you can change the selections on the dates. And you can also change the way which that pivots, so putting the dates as rows. As with all of the other reports, that has options for export and schedule, so you can use that should you wish. The next thing which we are going to be releasing is the next version of our data as a service, and that is going to be including one of the most popular requested, they call them data marts or sets of data, and that is going to include job worksheet data. So DAS is, if you don't know what DAS is, it's aimed at those who may already have an existing data warehouse or who are in the process of setting one up. There is a QR code on screen along with the web address if you want to get additional information on what DAS is. But the new data marts that are coming soon on screen, as I mentioned, it includes worksheets, it includes note data, stock item data, vehicle data, and custom fields as well. So lots of really important areas of BigChange data that will be available in DAS. The next thing that we are also working on is a new version of JobWatch Express. Now, this is going to be a completely redesigned web app, and it will be optimized for not just mobile phones, but tablets as well. And it will be the perfect tool for tracking vehicles or resources and job data at a glance. So that will be coming soon as well. Our finance work is continuing as well. We will be refreshing the line items to make them even more intuitive and easy to understand by grouping key line items together. We've talked about BigChange Fleet this morning, but we're also looking at two other financial offerings which come under the BigChange Extra banner. The first one we are looking at is BigChange Protect, and the second one is BigChange Fuel. More details will be provided in the coming weeks and months. So if you're interested in cutting your costs on these particular areas, do keep an eye out on the Success Centre. Last but not least, it's not just about finance that we're working on. We've also been working on a new way of scheduling jobs en masse. The feedback on our existing schedule all functionality has been that you wanted to see the routes on a map before committing to them. And that's exactly what we're working on. On screen, you can see something which is quite far down the line in development. And if that excites you, I'm actually pleased to let you know that hot off the press, this isn't something that's coming soon, but will be available as part of an open beta program starting next week. So if you are excited, do keep an eye out on your Success Centre, and we will be asking for your feedback on that. So I'm going to close that poll and launch this one. So now that you know the future developments which are coming, it'd be great to know how excited you are to have those in development. And you can also, as the second part of the poll, let us know which features you are most excited about, from the reports to the new mass scheduling tool, JobWatch Express, and the financial offerings as well. So those are the things that we are currently working on. We are actively working on those, but there's something else that we would like to get your opinion on. And this is something that we think will be of interest to you, but we just want to get some additional information. And it's about dashcams. Dashcams are a great tool at reducing insurance costs and risk mitigation. Now, we're exploring the idea of adding a fully integrated dashcam solution into the BigChange platform. You wouldn't need to connect it to a computer to view the footage, and it would be transmitted automatically to view on the map. There's also the potential for AI to look at the footage to identify events such as drivers using mobile phones, driving without a seatbelt, or being distracted. So I can see a lot of reactions on this, a lot of love coming through, thumbs up, hearts, and so on and so forth. I'm going to launch another poll. Very briefly, could you let us know if you use dash cams, is the first part of the question. And then, assuming that the price is competitive, is this something you would be interested in if we offered this solution? Now, if you can answer that poll, that would be great for two reasons. Firstly, it lets us know if we are on the right lines, but we will also get your name and email address. So when if we decide to go down that route and we have a beta program, we will be able to reach out to you. Let's have a quick look, see who's interested on that. Okay, so 92% so far are interested in doing something like this. Katrina, this is very positive news. Katrina's the product manager who is looking into this. So please let us know on that poll whether you use dash cams. And even if you use dash cams, it's not to say that R1 would be better. So if you are using dash cams, do let us know if you'd like this, because we could always add our dash cam to your vehicles and remove the other ones. So those are the things which are coming soon, but don't disappear just yet, because we have the Q&A section to get to. If you enjoyed this webinar, there is another webinar which is around customer service. Hopefully we won't cut out halfway through on that one. That is taking place on Wednesday, the 1st of May. The registrations have already opened, so scan the QR code on screen and you will be taken to that. Our newsletter is also available. The March edition went out in March, funnily enough, and if you want to read that, there is a QR code on screen. Last survey you were pleased to hear. This one is perhaps the most important one to me, because I would love to know how valuable you found this webinar on a scale of 1 to 5. On a scale of 1 to 5, how likely you are to now try some of these features as a result of the webinar. And if you could let me know some words that you would use to describe this webinar, that would also help, because we are going to be doing this quarterly, so we want to make sure that you get the most value out of this as possible. Okay, so I know the team, Charlie, Freddie and Katrina, have been beavering away in the chat. I'm now going to turn my attention to the actual Q&A sections and see the ones which are in review. I can actually see that the guys have answered some of these, I think. But let's have a quick look at these. So we've had quite a few questions around, let me scroll right to the beginning. In review. Let me have a quick look. Published. Guys, are there any questions for me to answer, or have they all been answered? I think they've all been answered, have they? Is there anything for me to do?
Working through them as you've been, chatting.
Oh my gosh, they've pretty much all been answered. Okay, let's have a look, see if any come in. So Jay has asked, do you have any more detailed videos on each of these, e.g. walkthrough timesheets, obtain specific data reports? We will have some information available on the university and guides for generic how-tos, but if you're interested in those specific, I will pass them over to the customer learning team and let them know this is something that you would like to see. Alistair has asked, could existing BigChange tablets be utilized for dash cam functionality rather than another piece of kit? It's something that we could certainly look at, but as with most things, a bespoke camera may well offer more reliability, and the camera quality might be different to that of a tablet. Plus, housing the tablet in the center of the windscreen may well not be compatible with things like passing an MOT. So the functionality might be there, but whether we could have a tablet front and center in the windscreen, that might cause some challenges. Adam asked, is the mass scheduling tool essentially a route scheduler for adding multiple jobs to engineers? It offers that functionality in that you can take, I think it's up to 300 jobs. How many? Charlie will keep me honest on this, the number of jobs. You can assign those to either multiple engineers or specific engineers if you want. Charlie, how many jobs is it? Can you remind me? You're on mute. We are being played with technical gremlins today. I can't hear you, Charlie. If you want to drop it into the chat, Charlie, they will be able to see. There's quite a few people who need access to timesheet version 2. I think, ladies and gentlemen, that is it. We've had a lot of questions that have been answered already. Okay, so as I mentioned before, this is going to be available on our YouTube channel shortly after. Hopefully both parts of it will be recorded and I'll be able to stitch them together. Thank you very much for those who have attended live. If you are watching this on catch up, the polls won't appear, but you're more than welcome to take part in those by leaving a comment in the video itself. So on behalf of Charlie, Freddie, Katrina and myself, thank you very much for joining today's webinar, and we hope to be able to see you soon.